International Dairy Foods Association is a trade association of about 525 members. We represent all the people who take a gallon of milk and process it into fluid milk that you drink, cheese that you may eat, yogurt that you may eat, ice cream that some of you in the room may eat occasionally, and infant formula, and many other ingredients that are in milk. Very pleased to be here. I too would like to add my comments in support of Mexico and the relationship we have with Mexico, as I explained the other day when I was visiting in the embassy here in Washington. And as Antonio said earlier, there's also investments from Mexico into the U.S., especially in our dairy industry, from Lala to Borden's as one example. So, as we think about NAFTA from the dairy industry, we see them in two different worlds. We see great benefits from NAFTA. Food and ag trade is quadrupled from about 9 billion to 36 billion, something in that range. Supports a lot of jobs in food and ag. We have about 1.4 million jobs in our food and agriculture. It's a large industry. We are currently exporting milk. Over the last 20 years, our milk exports have increased from a little less than 5% to over 20%. Our production efficiency per cow and our total milk production is increasing every year. And today, when our farmers milk cows, probably no one in this room has ever milked cows, but if you were to milk cows, you know what I'm talking about. If you were to be milking cows, you milk cows one day a week to go to the export market. So exports are extremely important to us in Mexico as an extremely valuable trade partner and an extremely valuable market to us. We export about 4.7 billion in dairy products, and about 1.2 billion of that goes to Mexico. Our trade with Mexico has been increasing, and we have a great relationship with Mexico. So our main issue with NAFTA and renegotiation, reopening, or whatever we could do with NAFTA, our main objective with Mexico will be to preserve the excellent trade relationships we have with Mexico. In terms of Canada, we have a different story with Canada. We've been in the news frequently. I was interviewed last night with Canadian TV. I was interviewed a week ago with Canadian TV. We have joined together with the National Milk Producers Federation, which represents the dairy farmers, the National Association of State Departments of Agriculture, which is the 50 state ag secretaries, and the U.S. Dairy Export Council, to voice our concern to the new administration over policies that the Canadian government's doing that is foreclosing about $150 million worth of dairy exports to Canada. With some of the new ingredient pricing strategies that they're doing in Ontario that we fully expect, according to the reports in the media, that they intend to extend across all provinces of Canada. So we've had ongoing issues with market access with Canada. We'll continue to push those. We are concerned that those current pricing schemes on the ingredient pricing strategies will also spill over into not just the domestic Canadian market that forecloses our companies located primarily in Wisconsin and New York at the current time, but will spill over into the global markets as they start subsidizing exports of skim milk powder to the world. So we are watching Canada, and we have strong interest in what's happening with dairy trade and market access in Canada. If the negotiations continue, or the renegotiations, however the process plays out, we intend to be at the table. We intend to make sure the ag interests, especially the dairy interests, are well represented. On the agriculture side, we are always, and as mentioned earlier with the example a few years ago about the trucking industry and the trucking issues, we will be mindful of any efforts to retaliate against the agricultural products, because of all of the goods and services, food and agriculture are services that every citizen around the world needs. And we also see, one of the things that was mentioned earlier was national security. We see food and agriculture as being a piece of the national security piece as well. And although it's a topic for another panel, when it comes to food and ag, our top markets are Canada and Mexico, with China fast approaching. So we'll be mindful of the issues with China as well. But today's discussion is about NAFTA. So we'll be there. We'll be looking to make some improvements perhaps in some of the SPS agreements, making those more transparent, making those have a speedier process. Some of the stuff that we were able to negotiate with TPP. And we'll also be watching the intellectual property, and as it comes to dairy, one of our big issues is the geographic indicators for things like feta cheese and those other kinds of things, which have been, for those of you, and I look at the audience and I see many of you that have been in the trade battles for many, many years, you know, I would be remiss if I didn't mention geographic indicators when I talk about dairy. So with that, I'll turn it over